Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Arsenal Bunker. And today, and it's weird because it feels like not really, obviously, it weren't so long ago, but it already feels like the Premier League's back in action. Something I do have a bit of a problem with, but we're already back in another game. And obviously, I think as fans, we love it because football is back and we're playing. Because if Arsenal played every day, it'd be the best. But at the same time, you do have to think about the players. You do have to think about why are the Premier League making us play on a Monday then a Friday? It just doesn't make sense. And it's not like it's a European football thing. I know some people go, oh, we're playing on a Wednesday and then a Saturday, but that's because it's a European football thing. It's a different competition and stuff like that. But I don't understand why the Premier League have done this. Doesn't really make sense to me. But listen, it happens. It happens. We're never going to get anything go our way. And obviously on Monday night, I don't want to make excuses because we were poor. Probably we did deserve to lose the match, but I've actually looked back at quite a lot of the things that happened in that match, and the officiating is terrible. And the worst one there is the tackle on. Well, it's not even a tackle; it's an assault on Bukayo Saka. And
Unbelievable.
obviously, if Arsenal fans didn't know, he's most likely going to be out for the game, which is very very disappointing. Arteta said obviously he might be able to be back in the team, but he hasn't trained yet, and I don't think Arteta will play him if he hasn't trained today. Very, very disappointing, Seb. But I've been speaking a bit there. So how are you today, though?
Yeah, I'm not bad, thank you. Yeah, I'm still gutted about what happened Monday, and you know what? It's made me feel less confident about tomorrow. It has actually, because the performances the last two games and pretty much most of the season, apart from the Spurs game, are really worrying, and I really hope this is not the signs of what we went through last season and the season before towards this stage coming back, because if it is, we're in big trouble. I really hope it isn't the sign of it, but it's just the performances are just really, really, really worrying. And we're coming back against a much better side than Palace in Aston Villa, and you know how they've done lately recently against us. Last season, they absolutely smashed us at the Emirates, and they beat us at Villa Park last season and the year before. In fact, Mikel Arteta has never picked up a point against them or scored a goal, and we're still lacking in the goal scoring department. And yeah, it is quite concerning, but I'll still be going to the game, and I am looking forward to it. But I'm just not as confident or as pumped as I was the other night with that.
I think you speak for the whole of the Arsenal fan base there. Obviously, you, a match day is the best thing. It's the best thing as a football fan, knowing you're going to the game. But it take you. I feel like I agree. I feel like if we would have beat Palace, I'd have been like, this is it now. This is where we kick on. This is where we start to make ourselves a big, big threat to teams this year. But um, I mean, I'm the most optimistic Arsenal fan you're going to find out there. But I'm really struggling to find something to look at and be, yeah, this is why I'm confident. And you want people to be afraid of us, but people, I always say, look, let's hope. I think Arsenal are going to turn it around this week or this week, and then we turn it around one week, and then it sort of dips away, and then you sort of forget about it, but then it gets saved again. And I feel like it's the same with some of our players. And I think a prime example right now is Pepe, because I think you could probably see Arsenal fans are down right now. We'd probably beat Villa, and Pepe would score a last-minute goal, and people would be like, and it'll be a brilliant goal. People would be like, now Pepe's going to come alive. Then he'll play terrible for 5 games. Arsenal won't do as good, but then I don't know. Martinelli will score, but then he'll get benched next week. It's just so inconsistent right now, and you don't know. We just need to find a long drift of form, a long drift, not 3-4 games, a long drift of form, where in 15 games, 15 Premier League games, I know obviously 15 Premier League games now is in probably up until like February sort of time maybe, but so from now until Christmas, it's probably about maybe 10 games, maybe 9 games,
Something like
Premier
that.
League, something like that. So that's 27 points, let's say. I want 18 points, 19 points. We can't keep slipping below. And also in that space, I have Man U, Liverpool, Everton. So it's going to be tough. But listen, we've got to start putting wins together. And I feel like, it's a bit of a weird one, but I feel like now we've got a couple of games again. We can win them. we can win every game, but we can lose every game as well. But I feel like now, Friday, we've got Villa. Take that win, and
We
then
have to
that
win.
we need to progress. Then we progress. Yeah, if we lose against Villa, I think we could look back and be like, yeah, this might be the same old season.
Yeah, and also what worries me is that we've got November coming up in a few weeks, and you know how bad that notoriously has been, and we've got some hard fixtures there. We've got to go to, including a trip to Anfield there, where we've not done very well.
Yeah.
So these kind of things really do worry me. And the thing is, I don't think this is really a difficult run in now for Arsenal because people can say we had a hard start, which we probably did in August. But if you actually look at the games lately, it's not really a hard run in. Like Crystal
Yeah.
Palace at home, Aston Villa at home, Leicester away. Okay, that could be difficult. Then Watford at home. Then before then we have
When
Brighton away.
when you look at these
It's
games,
a hard run in,
yeah,
but I think the problem is that teams are coming to the Emirates now and they're no longer fearful. Like they always go in saying, "Oh, we can get something," or "we can get 3 points." It's just the sad thing is that I feel we've lost our fear factor when teams used to come to the Emirates very afraid, thinking, "Oh,
hmm
get away. If we get a point, we'll be extremely lucky."
yeah, that's. I was
Teams
just
coming
about to
here
say that.
confident.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, like it used to be, if we can nick a point today and take that, that's perfect. But now it's sort of like we're gonna try and get all three. A point would be all right. We need to sort of change our our status right
Have
now.
to
We're in a
earn it.
bad.
We have to earn our fear factor back. We've got to get
Yeah,
it fast, but
yeah.
don't think with this style of play that we are. It's not looking promising because you saw that game the other night, and Palace were without Zaha, and then the other week Brighton were without Bissouma, and they still said, "Oh well, it doesn't really matter." And it's really it is worrying going into this when we're coming up against a much better side, and the fact also that I'm not trying to now. Please don't accuse me of digging him out, but Saka obviously is one of our best players. But and what Mikel Arteta did say in that press conference is really worrying because if he hasn't trained the last couple of days, he should not be in contention for this game. Because don't forget, he's only 19. He's been playing regularly for England, so he hasn't not he's been having much of a rest. He's 19. He's a young kid. He needs to develop, and and let's be honest, he hasn't really started the season very well. He hasn't really. He did well against Tottenham,
I
but
think.
I don't
I
really,
think. You know what it is.
I don't really feel that if he's not fully fit or if he hasn't trained up, we should really be risking him this game. But now Mikel Arteta said, "Oh, we're going to have to assess him today. We're going to assess him then, and we'll see how it is." So I honestly think he's desperate to get him involved, and it shouldn't
Yeah.
be that way for young kids like this for Arsenal. It shouldn't.
Yeah, I do agree to an extent, but I guess like you got to look at it in the ways. At the end of the day, he probably is our best player. And to go on, by the way, to the he hasn't kicked off the season good in well. I feel like honestly, and I love Saka.
Yeah,
I
me too.
think he's
I wasn't.
absolutely
I
brilliant.
wasn't
But
digging him
yeah,
out.
yeah.
I
But what
was.
I can say, I feel like Arsenal fans have got it a bit wrong, in my opinion. I feel like it's not he hasn't started the season well. It's not, but it is he hasn't started the season at the levels he was last year because he was untouchable last year. He was doing things to teams that no one was doing. And I feel like he's still doing good for us, I think. He's still doing good. Like, he's not doing amazing, but he's doing good.
Yeah, he's doing.
And
Yes.
like you said, he's 20 years old and he's not going to every single week do this, do that, do that. He's not going to do that. He's still young, he's still growing. And I feel like also getting we're criticising him. Same as Tierney. I feel like Tierney's doing all right. I think
Yeah,
he's doing good. That's
he
it.
looks a bit dodgy so far.
But
But
I think I have to disagree. Apart from the Chelsea game, I feel like he's done all right. I think he's done all right, Tierney.
didn't. Yeah, I thought he wasn't too bad against Palace. It was a Brighton game where I thought he just didn't perform well. He wasn't too bad against Palace. I thought he was very unlucky when
Yeah.
he hit the post. But the thing is with him is that at the moment he's just. I don't really feel he's not looking forward enough. I feel he's looking too far sideways and too far trying to play the ball across. Because he used to be that
Yeah.
that used his pace to go down the line. And
Yeah.
I'll give
Do you
I'll
think do you
I'll
think that
I'll
that
say
oh,
this.
go on.
I heard this the other day. Is that apparently the Arsenal players, according to Jack Wilshere, did a sprint test,
Yeah, I saw this. Yeah.
and we all thought Aubameyang was the fastest player, and the answer was actually from that bleep test, Kieran Tierney, and Jack Wilshere said that surprises me.
Yeah, I think you know what it is. Yeah, I feel like Aubameyang really. I think this is something Aubameyang can do, and I feel like everyone always says about how Aubameyang don't get players into games. I have to disagree. I feel like when Aubameyang was on the left last year, he got because he used to move in a position to drag the player out, and then Tierney would burst into that space and whip a ball across. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The amount of crosses Tierney got in last year, and Arsenal fans, we sat there and went, "How was that not gone in? How have you not scored?" Like, and the key example is when we played Aston Villa, and it was it what I believe it was 1-0 at half time, and then the second half starts straight away. No,
Worse, it was
sorry, it was the
that
first
was
half, and
like
Lacazette
the Emirates, yeah.
and Aubameyang comes in, Tierney bang down the line, and then whips it in the box. Lacazette has a clear header.
Yeah, he missed it, and that was towards the end of the first half. Yeah,
Yeah, and look, and when you have that so many times, I feel like Smith Rowe though he doesn't. I don't think them two work honestly together too well. I feel like Smith Rowe sort of gets in his way a bit. I feel like Smith Rowe likes to do the running himself.
do you think it's him being playing out of position, or do you think it's a style of play? What do you actually think,
Well,
Max?
it's kind of hard with Smith Rowe because I feel like we do get a lot of his best side when he's coming in from the left and doing something from there. But at the same time, it does destroy a lot of what the team is trying to do. That's really tough to decide what we want there. And obviously, with the whole Saka playing on the left and not Pepe, and I honestly, Saka has to be on the right hand side now.
Yeah,
And I still do like Pepe, and I still do see
yeah,
him
me
player, but
too.
he's really starting to wind me up a lot now. I just feel like he's
Compared
just
to
a bit.
Pepe, I didn't think he played that badly in the first half, but second half, absolutely
I just
abysmal.
think he's just too effortless sometimes. He needs to start just going for stuff and really it don't look like he's 100% all the time. Always looks like he's a bit lazy, a bit laid back. Like
Do you think with that, do you think it's for lack of game time, or do you think it's certainly
it
him
could be, it
playing,
really could
playing
be.
on the right?
But
Because
then I have seen Pepe being like that his whole career at Arsenal, where he's just a bit. He doesn't. But then he does have
something's
time,
missing.
and
Yeah,
it's the
something.
biggest frustration. We do see times where Pepe is untouchable by teams. There's so many games where he's had it where no one can get near him, but then he then just has 5, 6, 7, 8 games where he's terrible, absolutely terrible. You don't really get in between with Pepe, which is weird. I think you rather have him terrible or he's unbelievable. But anyway, that's enough said about that. Now, I feel like this starting 11 could be a bit different, maybe a bit. I don't know how you feel, but how are you going to go with this team? I think once again, the back 4 5 is the same.
We'll keep that
I think,
the
so we
same.
have,
We don't have the full team news yet because obviously we know Saka's a doubt and Xhaka's definitely out, but Mikel Arteta did say there's
there's a
two
couple of players.
there's 2 or 3 players that came off with knocks. We haven't heard the full team news yet, so we're going to do this based on the fact that Saka is a doubt and
Oh,
Xhaka
okay.
out. We're going to do
Yeah.
it based on that because I don't know the full details.
Yeah, so I think the back 5 is good. We're going to keep that the same. I didn't think they had the worst game on Palace. Obviously, the goals were both Sambi Lokonga and Partey. However, I feel like
There's the mistakes in midfield that
I
did it.
feel like, however, the first goal, maybe Tierney and Gabriel can close that gap quicker after that Benteke scores in. Feel like they can close that a bit quicker. Maybe throw themselves at it a bit more.
Definitely. And the second goal, Ben White backed off.
Yeah,
off.
it's tough. It's tough. But and then right. So now we move on to the midfield. How would you like to see this lineup? I want to see what you say here.
Ooh. You know what? I think this game I would drop Odegaard because the last 2 games he has looked very worrying. So maybe it's time to just bring him out the side for a game. So I will keep passing the Conga there, but or maybe would it be an idea to bring back El Nene? And I'm not El Nene's biggest fan, but
Yeah.
would it be a good idea to bring him back? And the thing is, your Conga hasn't really played a lot of games lately. He has actually been on the bench. Well, he was on the
Yeah.
he was on the bench the other day, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go Partey the Conga. And then in front, and then in front, I'll go. I would start. I would start Pepe. I think, but But yeah, the thing is also about whether he's better. The thing is, if Saka's out, which I'm going to assume he will be, and I wouldn't risk him for this, who else is there to play on that side? I know Odegaard could do it.
Yeah.
There really is.
I'll give you mine. So I'd agree with Partey and Sambi as the two, and then I'd say for me, I'm gonna go Pepe on the right, down the middle Odegaard, on the left Aubameyang, up front Lacazette. That's what I'm going. I feel like this because Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Pepe. We've seen it this year how sometimes last year, sorry, and the year before. Sometimes when they're together and they're working, it's so good. It's so good.
I honestly think with that's the system that we're played. That does seem to work, but it's better when it's a back three when those three work. But when it's a
that's true.
it hasn't really worked as much. And regarding your starting 11, I agree with that same front four, but Smith Rowe instead of Odegaard. That would be my only.
That's fair enough.
But
that's fair enough.
I will definitely start Laka. And on the point of Laka, he looked very hungry when he came on, and even
He does all the time.
But would you keep him? Would you keep him? Give him a contract?
It's really tough.
Arteta did actually say anything it is possible now. And
yeah.
It would be.
Do you know something I do want to say?
It would be disappointed to see him. Sorry if I'm going on.
No, it's cool.
It would be disappointing for a player of his quality to see him leave for nothing very, very soon, because that's something he can do, and that's all their fault for letting him enter the last year of the contract and not being addressed, which they said they wouldn't do, and they continue to do so. There's four other players in that situation, but yeah, what are your thoughts with Lacazette?
You know what? I love Lacazette, I really do, but honestly, for me, I think sometimes as Arsenal fans, we're too attached with players. And I think, honestly, let him go and buy a new striker. It's new. I'm sorry. I love Lacazette. And if we do keep him on, I won't be angry. But I think sometimes we're just a bit like, oh, we should keep on to him. And then we moan about if we don't. But then if we do, then they end up playing not as good as what they should be or whatever. I just think it's time to change now and go for a new striker, go for a new idea up front.
You're actually right. You're actually right there. I'm inclined to agree with you with that.
And we're very attached as fans, by the way, as well, because he is a very quality player, but also he plays it all for the badge. He's all for the badge. He loves Arsenal, and we know that as fans. He loves Arsenal. He loves Arsenal. You can tell, and you can tell how much it means to him.
It does actually show a little bit of leadership skills, something we are lacking, because I think he shows more leadership skills than Aubameyang. I don't think Aubameyang really does show that.
Yeah, but look, it's something that we won't see until it's Arteta's decision to make. He's the one who does everything there, so hopefully we have. Yeah, and like I say all the time, hopefully we can get over the line, and as long as we win, and hopefully I do want to see us play well, though. To be honest, I think apart from the Tottenham game. And Burnley, maybe. I think the Tottenham game, because Burnley was a good game, but I feel like that weren't us showing what we're about. But it was good because you have to match Burnley, sort of. But listen, let's score predictions now, Seb.
If you want my honest opinion, I'm going to go in my head and I'm going to say 1-1. If you want my honest prediction, I'm sorry to sound pessimistic and nice, but what I've seen lately does worry me, and we're coming up against a good Villa team, and even though they've not been on the best of forms lately, I remember they were on exactly this kind of form last season until they came to the Emirates, and then they completely turned us over.
I'm gonna say.
So I'm sorry. I'm gonna go a draw. I don't think we'll win this.
That's cool, man.
I really want to. I hope I'm wrong, just to win. But
there's not much of a thing right now to be confident, but I'm gonna be confident, and I'm gonna say 1-0 Arsenal and Aubameyang to score. I think that's what's going to happen. Hopefully, I'm right. Hopefully, but let's just get the win, please, Arsenal. Please win, please win.
Please win.
And it already feels like such a long time ago when we won. It was about a month ago now since the last time we won. So, obviously, international break.
Can't be going down that situation again.
Yeah, but look, it has been a month since we've won. Even though it's an international break, it's still been a month since we've won. So we do want to win this. Please, Arsenal, get the win. Thank you, Seb, for joining me. We're going to talk to Seb as well at the game on Friday. and we're going to talk
Yep.
about the lineup and stuff like that. I'm so excited to go, even though we're a bit poor right now. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you, Seb. Come on, you Reds.